Ladies and gentlemen, what if you could change your entire life not by doing more, but by doing less? What if the secret to unlocking your potential, to finally getting rid of that anxiety, that constant stress, wasn't in another expensive course or a complicated routine, but was something you could do tonight while you're asleep? Stick around, because this might be the most important thing you ever listened to. For years, I struggled with my own mind, that voice that wouldn't be quiet. The constant replay of mistakes from the past, the worry about things that haven't even happened yet. It's exhausting, right? It feels like you're fighting a battle inside your own head every single day. And no matter how many times people tell you to just think positive, it never really works. It's like putting a bandage on a broken leg. But what if the problem isn't what you're thinking, but the mind itself that's doing the thinking? What if you could go right to the source and change the program that's running your entire life? We are all running on software we didn't choose. From the moment we are born, our mind is being programmed. Our parents, our friends, school, society, every experience, every hurt, every victory, it all writes a code. This code decides how we see the world, how we react to problems, what we believe we're capable of, and what we think we deserve. For most of us, that code is full of bugs. It has viruses of self-doubt, loops of fear, and firewalls that block us from our own potential. We try to fix the output. We try to act more confident. We try to force ourselves to be happy, but we never address the source code. We never go into the system and rewrite the program. One person health creative AI-powered meals and activity tracker track meals and activities with voice photos. AI analyzes your data. Get personalized recommendations that actually work. Try for free sponsored so we stay stuck. We keep getting the same results because we are the same person. The outer world might change, but the inner world, the operating system, remains the same. And that is the real challenge. Not the world outside, but the world you have built inside your own head. The illusion of the busy mind. We have been taught to believe that a busy mind is a productive mind. We wear our stress like a medal. We boast about our lack of sleep as if it's a trophy earned from hard work. We say things like, "I've got so much on my mind." And we expect a pat on the back, some acknowledgement of the heavy burden we carry. We have confused this constant, endless internal noise for intelligence. We mistake the chaos for complexity. And we believe that to be important, we must be constantly thinking, worrying, playing, and replaying. But this is perhaps the greatest misunderstanding we have about ourselves. This noise is not a sign of a powerful mind. It is the clearest evidence of a mind that has not been trained. It is not a badge of honor. It is a sign of a lack of discipline. Think of it like this. A cluttered room is not a sign of a creative genius at work. It is a sign of a person who cannot find what they need, who is constantly tripping over their own possessions, who feels overwhelmed and anxious the moment they step into that space. Their own home becomes a source of stress, not a sanctuary. This is exactly what a cluttered mind is like. It is the place you must live in every single moment of your life. And if it is full of junk, of old thoughts, of worries about tomorrow and regrets from yesterday, you have nowhere to go to find peace. You are trapped in a crowded room with no windows, and the door is locked from the inside. You are trying to find solutions, to find clarity, to find a moment of joy. But you cannot, because the space is too full. There is no room for anything new to enter. Peace cannot enter. Clear thinking cannot enter. True creativity cannot enter. Good ideas cannot find a place to land. They see the mess and they move on. All of these things require space, and a noisy, busy mind has no space left. It is completely occupied by the past and the future, leaving no room for the present moment. The first and most important step is to realize that this noise is not who you are. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who is aware of the thoughts. This is a critical distinction. The thoughts are like clouds passing in the sky. The sky is always there. It is constant. It is vast and it is silent. The clouds come and they go. Some are dark and stormy, some are light and fluffy. But the sky does not cling to the clouds. It does not try to stop them or hold them. It simply allows them to pass. Your awareness is the sky. Your thoughts are the clouds. The problem begins when you mistake yourself for the cloud. You see a dark cloud of worry and you say, "I am worried." And then you attach yourself to that cloud. You get on it and you ride it and you let it take you wherever it wants to go. It might take you to a memory of a past failure and then you jump onto that cloud. Then it takes you to a fearful imagination of the future and you jump onto that one. You spend your entire life jumping from cloud to cloud, getting tossed around by the weather in your mind, and you completely forget that you are the vast, peaceful, silent sky that is underneath it all. This mental noise is simply weather. It is something that is happening. It is not you. When you understand this, everything changes. You can observe a thought of anxiety arise, and instead of becoming the anxiety, you can simply say there is anxiety. You see it, you acknowledge its presence, but you do not invite it in for tea. You do not give it your energy. You see it as a program that has been triggered. Maybe someone said something that upset you and the old program of you are not good enough starts running. It is like an app opening on your phone without you touching it. It drains your battery. It slows down your entire system. Before this understanding, you would have believed the program. You would have engaged with it, argued with it, fought with it, which only gives it more power. But now you can simply see the program is running. You can notice it. And with that simple act of noticing without judgment, without attachment, you have already begun to create a space between you and the program. In that space lies your freedom. In that space is the power to choose. You have the power to close the program. You are the user of the mind, not its servant. The busy mind is an illusion because it makes you believe you are the traffic, when in truth you are the open road, the garden of your thoughts. If you want to understand your mind, do not think of it as a machine. Think of it as a garden. This is a much wiser way to see it. A garden is alive. It is organic. It requires patience and care. It has its own seasons, and most importantly, things will grow in it whether you want them to or not. You cannot stop the weeds from appearing. You cannot stop the wind from bringing seeds from your neighbor's garden. Seeds will fly in from everywhere. A negative headline you read in the news, a rude comment from a stranger on the street, a forgotten memory that suddenly pops up, a fear about your health or your work. These are all seeds. You have no control over which seeds land in your garden. This is a very important point to understand. Many people exhaust themselves trying to control the entire world so that no negative seed ever lands in their mind. This is impossible. It is a fight you will always lose. The world will always throw seeds at you. Trying to control the external world to manage your internal peace is like trying to control the wind. It cannot be done. Where your true power lies is not in preventing the seeds from landing, but in what you do with them once they are there. This is the art of gardening the mind. When a weed appears, let's say a thought of jealousy or anger or insecurity, you have a choice. This choice is everything. Do you see the weed and immediately lean into it? Do you water it to attention? Do you give it the sunlight of your focus and the fertilizer of your emotional energy? Do you sit with it and think about it from every angle, replaying the event that caused it, imagining all the terrible things it could lead to? If you do this, you are not just noticing the weed. You are having a picnic on it. You are inviting all your friends over to look at this disgusting weed. You are lying in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about nothing else but this one weed. You are through your own constant attention, helping it grow deep, strong roots. Soon, it is not a small weed you can easily pull out. It has become a giant thorny bush that has taken over a whole corner of your garden. It becomes a part of the landscape, and then you wonder why your garden, your mind is such an unpleasant, hostile place to be. You blame the wind for bringing the seed, but you never acknowledge that you were the one who watered it every day. The deterrative is to learn the skill of non-attention. You notice the weed. You cannot pretend it is not there. That is denial, and denial is just another form of attention. Instead, you see it clearly. You acknowledge, there is a weed of jealousy. But then you simply let it be. You do not water it. You do not give it your energy. You turn your attention instead to the flowers you wish to cultivate. You turn your attention to your breath, to the feeling of the ground beneath your feet, to a task that requires your focus. You redirect your energy without your attention and emotional energy. The weed withers. It might not disappear completely overnight, but it becomes weak. It loses its power over you. Its roots cannot grow deep because you are not feeding it. This is the daily practice. It is not a one-time battle where you rip out every weed and your garden is perfect forever. It is a gentle, consistent tending every day you walk through your garden. You notice what is growing. You choose what to water and what to ignore. You plant new seeds intentionally, seeds of gratitude, of patience, of compassion. You water those seeds with your practice. You protect them. You appreciate them when they bloom. Reprogramming your mind is not about building a fortress around your garden to keep all weeds out. It is about becoming a master gardener who is no longer afraid of weeds because you know you have the power to choose them. The quality of your life is determined by the quality of the garden you tend to inside yourself, the power of the subconscious night. Think about your mind in two parts because they work in completely different ways. And if you don't understand this, you will keep trying to solve your problems with the wrong tool. Your conscious mind is the part you think of as you. It's the voice in your head. It's the one that makes plans, that worries, that tries to figure everything out. It's the gardener we talked about walking around in the daylight with a set of tools. It has willpower. It can decide today I will be positive. I will not get angry. I will be productive. And for a few hours it might work. It can pull a few weeds by force. But this conscious mind gets tired very easily. It gets distracted by a bird flying overhead, by a sound, by a memory. It overthinks everything. It argues with itself. It starts a project and then gets bored. It says it wants to change, but then it gets scared of change. It is a terrible master because it is inconsistent and it burns out. It operates on the surface. Now beneath this is the subconscious mind. This is not the gardener. This is the soil itself. The entire garden exists within it, and this soil does not get tired. It does not have opinions. It does not argue. It has no willpower of its own. It has one function: to accept seeds and to grow whatever is planted in it. It works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you are awake or asleep. It is the most powerful part of you, but it is completely neutral. It will grow beautiful flowers if you plant them, and it will grow poisonous weeds if you plant those instead. It doesn't care. It doesn't care. It just grows. This is the fundamental reason why so many of our attempts to change ourselves fail. We use the conscious gardener to shout instructions at the soil. We stand in front of the mirror and our conscious mind says, I am confident. I am successful. I am worthy. Even worthy. But the soil, the subconscious, feels the tension in the body. It hears the slight hesitation in the voice. It knows the history. It remembers. Every time you felt humiliated, every time you failed, every time you were rejected, the soil is still packed with those old, deeply rooted seeds. So when the conscious mind says, I am confident, the subconscious soil, which is your actual reality, whispers back, you are a fraud. And that inner conflict is what makes the affirmation feel like a lie. It creates a civil war inside you. The conscious mind is trying to impose a new idea, but the subconscious foundation is not prepared to hold it. The real lasting change never happens through force. It never happens when the conscious mind is straining and trying and effing. That effort is like the gardener stomping on the soil, demanding that it grow a different plant. It doesn't work. It just makes a mess. Real change happens when the effort stops. It happens in the quiet. It happens in the moments of rest. It happens when the conscious gardener finally puts down the tools and goes to sleep. This is the secret door. This is the back door to the entire system. When the conscious mind, with all its doubts and its analyzing and its resistance, goes offline, the gate is open, the soil is receptive. It is soft and open and willing to accept new seeds without argument. This is why sleep is not just rest for the body. It is the most important time for the mind. It is the maintenance period for the garden. This is when the real work can be done. Not by you trying, but by you finally letting go and allowing a deeper intelligence to get to work. This is the power of the subconscious night. It is the time when you can bypass the noisy, critical, tired gardener and speak directly to the source of all growth, what this audio actually does. So if the key is to speak directly to the subconscious soil while the conscious gardener is asleep, how do you actually do that? You can't just talk to yourself while you're sleeping. This is where this specific audio comes in. It is not what it might appear to be on the surface. It is not merely a collection of relaxing sounds designed to help you fall asleep. That is a side effect, but it is not the purpose. Thinking of it as just sleep aid is like thinking of a key as just a piece of metal. Its true value is not in its shape, but in its function to unlock something. This audio is a key. It is a precisely designed tool that performs two very specific critical functions. The first function is to gently and persuasively calm the conscious gardener. The conscious mind is a gatekeeper. It is always on duty, analyzing, protecting, questioning. If you try to plant a new seed while it is wide awake and on guard, it will analyze the seed, doubt it, question it, and reject it. So the audio uses a combination of rhythms, tones, and sonic patterns that are specifically designed to communicate with this part of the mind on a level it understands. It doesn't fight the gatekeeper, it doesn't try to force it to sleep, it gently persuades it. The sounds and the music create a signal of safety. They tell the nervous system through the language of vibration and frequency that it is okay to stand down, that there is no danger here, that it is safe to relax, that it is safe to let go. It is a gradual, gentle process of convincing the gatekeeper that its services are not needed right now, that everything is under control. It causes the conscious mind into a state of deep, tranquil relaxation, quieting the constant noise and chatter that usually fills your head. It is like slowly turning down the volume on a radio until there is only silence. This is the first and essential step, creating silence and receptivity. Once that is achieved, once the gatekeeper is peacefully asleep at his post, the second function begins. This is where the real work happens. Now the audio delivers the new seeds directly into the soil of the subconscious. The words, the phrases, the concepts that are woven into the audio are not heard by the critical analytical conscious mind, are absorbed directly by the subconscious. They are delivered in a way that bypasses all resistance. There is no arguing, there is no yes but. There is only acceptance. The soil simply receives the new information as truth and begins to integrate it. It is not forcing you to be something you are not. That is a violent act and the subconscious would resist it. Instead, it is reminding you of what you truly are beneath all the layers of programming, fear and old habits that the world has built up around you. It is reminding the soil of its innate fertility, its natural state of peace and strength. It is weeding out the old limiting beliefs not by fighting them but by neglecting them, by refusing to give them energy. And at the same time, it is planting new, stronger, better seeds of clarity, calm, and confidence. It is a process of gentle replacement that happens in the deepest state of rest. Which is why you wake up feeling different. Not because you try to be different, but because something fundamental within you has been nourished and attended to on a level deeper than your everyday thinking can reach. The principles woven into the sun. It is important to understand that what makes this process effective is not a mysterious force or a secret magic trick. It is the application of certain timeless principles presented in a way that the deepest part of you can finally understand and accept. These are not complex theories. They are simple, profound truths about how to navigate life without creating unnecessary suffering for yourself. The audio is simply a vehicle for these principles, combining the science of sound and brainwave entrainment with the ancient wisdom of how to live well. The first principle woven into every moment of the audio is the idea of non-resistance. Most of our inner struggle comes from our refusal to accept what is actually happening in this present moment. We fight against reality. We argue with it. We think things should be different. This person should not have said that this traffic jam should not be happening. This feeling should not be here. This resistance is like trying to swim against a powerful current. It exhausts you completely and you do not move forward, you just get tired. Non-resistance is not about giving up or being passive. It is about stopping the fight. It is about turning around and swimming with the current. It is about accepting the reality of the traffic jam. Once you accept it, your energy is no longer spent on fighting. Your energy is freed up to deal with it skillfully. Maybe you put on an audiobook. Maybe you use the time to breathe. The situation hasn't changed, but your relationship to it has changed completely because you stopped resisting. The audio teaches this not with words to be analyzed, but with a feeling to be absorbed. A feeling of allowing, of letting things be as they are. The second principle is detachment. This is a word that is often misunderstood. It does not mean that you do not care. It does not mean you become cold or distant. It means you do not tie your inner peace and happiness to specific outcomes in the outside world. You can work towards a goal with all your energy and passion, but you detach your sense of self-worth from whether you achieve it or not. Most of us are attached. We say, I will only be happy if I get that job. If that person loves me, if I have that much money. This is like building your house on a foundation of sand. The ocean will eventually wash it away. When the outcome doesn't happen, your whole sense of self collapses. Detachment is building your house on the solid rock of your own inner being, which cannot be washed away by any external event. You can still want things. You can still enjoy them, but you are not destroyed by not getting them. The audio helps you feel this stability, this inner foundation that is unshakable. The third principle is inner stillness. This is the natural state that emerges when you stop resisting and you practice detachment. It is not a stillness that you create by force. It is a stillness that you discover was there all along, underneath all the noise. It is the silence of the sky after the clouds have passed. It is the knowledge that the core of who you are is untouched by the chaos of the world. Your body can be in a busy city, but your inner world can be as still and quiet as a mountain lake. This is where true peace lives. The audio guides you to this place not by telling you to be still, but by creating the conditions where stillness can reveal itself. The final principle is clarity. When the water in a pond is muddy and churned up, you cannot see the bottom. When the water is still, the mud settles and the water becomes clear. You can see everything perfectly. Your mind is the same. When it is churned up with worries, fears, and desires, you cannot see reality clearly. You see your own distorted projections. You see what you are afraid of or what you desperately want to see. With stillness comes clarity. You see things as they actually are, not as your mind labels them. You see a problem, and instead of panicking, you see its components, and a potential solution arises naturally. These principles are the seeds that are being planted. They are not new ideas that your conscious mind has to memorize. In this state of deep receptivity, they become experiences. You don't learn about stillness, you experience stillness. You don't learn about non-resistance. You feel what it is like to finally let go. That is how real change takes root. Letting go of the old self. This entire journey is not about becoming something new. That is a misunderstanding that leads to more struggle. You're not trying to build a new self on top of the old broken one. That is like trying to build a beautiful new house on a crumbling, cracked foundation. It will not stand. The work is not about addition. It is about subtraction. It is not about acquiring more knowledge, more strategies, more things to do. It is about letting go of the things that are not you. It is about removing the layers of conditioning that you have mistaken for yourself. Think of it as cleaning out a very old, very cluttered attic. You have been storing things in there for decades. Old furniture, old clothes, boxes of memories you never look at but are afraid to throw away. This attic is your mind. It is so full that you can barely move around in it. The audio does not come in and add more furniture. It does not give you another box to store. It helps you gently and systematically to take things out, to look at an item, an old belief, a story you tell yourself, a fear, and ask a simple question. Does this serve me? Does this help me live a better life? If the answer is no, you are helped to let it go. You have held on to these stories for so long that you believe they are part of your skeleton. You think the story "I'm not smart enough" is a bone in your body. You think the belief "I don't deserve love" is the beat of your own heart, but they are not. They are just old clothes that you put on a long time ago. Perhaps when you were a child because someone told you to wear them. They are worn out. They are stained. They are too tight. They do not fit the person you are now, and they never will. But you are afraid to take them off because they are familiar. Even if they are uncomfortable, they are what you know. Your worries, your anxieties, your self-doubt, as painful as they feel safe because they are yours. Letting go of them will feel strange. It might even feel scary at first. You will feel exposed. You might feel a little vulnerable, like someone who has been wearing a heavy winter coat for years and suddenly takes it off. The air might feel cold for a moment. You might feel lighter than you are used to, and that lightness can be disorienting. This is completely normal. It is a sign that the process is working. That feeling of exposure is not a sign of danger. It is a sign of truth. You are finally feeling the air on your own skin without the layers of old worn-out ideas in the way. You are making space and nature pours a vacuum. When you create space inside yourself by removing what is false, what is true and natural and authentic to you will automatically flow in to fill that space. You do not need to force. Peace will flow in. Confidence will flow in. Clarity will flow in. They were always there waiting underneath all the clutter. This process of letting go is not a one-time event. It is a gentle, ongoing practice. Some items in the attic will be easy to discard. Others you will pick up, look at and put back down. Not quite ready to let them go. That is okay. The audio is not a bulldozer that forces everything. It is a patient, compassionate friend that sits with you in the attic, holding the space for you to decide what to keep and what to release, encouraging you to finally take off the old coat you have been wearing for a lifetime and discover what you look like without it, embodying the new program. Understanding a concept is only the very beginning, the first step on a very long path. You can read every book ever written about how to swim. You can understand the theory of buoyancy and the mechanics of each. But none of that knowledge will keep you from sinking when you are finally placed in the deep water. The real learning, the true knowing happens in the doing. It happens in the water. It is the same with reprogramming your mind. The audio plants the seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious while you sleep. But the growth, the strengthening, the becoming of that seed into a strong tree happens in the sunlight of your daily life. It happens in your actions. It happens in your reaction. When you wake up after using the audio, do not expect to open your eyes and be a completely different person. That is not how it works. That is the old way of thinking, the desire for a quick and dramatic transformation that never lasts. This is a gradual process like the sun rising in the morning. It does not go from dark to light instantly. First there is a faint glow on the horizon. Then the darkness becomes a little less dark. Then shapes begin to become visible. Then colors slowly return to the world. This is what you will notice. A situation that yesterday would have triggered an immediate explosion of anger. Maybe someone cutting you off in traffic or a rude email from a colleague. Today you will notice something different. The anger might still arise. That is the old program trying to... But you will not be consumed by it. You will see it like a wave forming the inner ocean. Instead of immediately becoming the wave and crashing onto the shore, you will find yourself pausing. You will take a breath, and in that breath you will discover a space. This space, this gap between the event and your reaction is where your entire power lies. It is the most important space in your life. Before there was no space. The event happened and your reaction was instantaneous, automatic like a puppet on a... You were a slave to your programming. Now with the new seeds taking root, that space appears. It might only be a half second at first, but it is enough. In that space, you have a choice. You are no longer a puppet. You are the person holding the strings. You can choose to let the wave of anger pass without acting on it. You can choose to take a deep breath instead of snapping with a sharp word you will later regret. You can choose to see the situation with clarity instead of through the fog of your old emotions. This is the new program coming online. This is not you trying to be patient. It is patience arising naturally from within you, because the seed of patience has been planted and is now growing. You might find yourself in a difficult problem at work, and instead of the familiar panic and anxiety tightening your chest, a calm, clear solution will simply pop into your head. This is not you forcing yourself to be smart. It is the natural intelligence of your mind, which was always there but was previously blocked by noise, finally having the space to operate. This is what it means to embody the program. It is not an act you put on. It is a new way of being that emerges from within. It is the fruit growing from the seed. You will not have to think about it. You will simply find yourself doing it. The old reactions will become less and less frequent. Not because you are fighting them, but because you are no longer feeding them. They wither away from lack of attention, and the new healthier responses grow stronger because you are living them. This is how change truly happens. Not as a dramatic event, but as a quiet, consistent unfolding in the simple moments of your everyday life. Your morning anchor. The work that happens while you are asleep is profound, but it is also delicate. The state you are in when you listen to the audio is very open, very receptive, very impressionable. It is like wet cement. The new patterns are being set. What you do in the first moments after you wake up is like walking on that cement before it has had time to dry. You can either carefully smooth it out and let it set properly, or you can stomp through it with heavy boots, leaving deep footprints that ruin the smooth surface. This is why your first actions in the morning are not just a routine, they are a crucial part of the reprogramming process. They are the anchor that decides whether the peace and clarity from the night will carry forward into your day or be immediately shut. The worst thing you can do, the absolute poison to this process, is to reach for your phone the second you open your eyes. This single action is like taking a beautiful, tranquil garden that has just been tended to all night and immediately driving a bulldozer. You are inviting the entire world, its chaos, its demands, its bad news, its comparisons, its endless notifications directly into your mind before you have even had a single conscious thought of your own. You are allowing the world to set the tone for your day. Before you have had a chance to connect with yourself, you are pouring poison on the new seeds. Instead, you must protect that delicate, peaceful state for the first few minutes after waking. Be still. Do not jump out of bed. Just lie there. Notice how your body feels. Is there any tension? Just notice it without judgment. Notice the quality of the silence in the room. Listen to it. This silence is the echo of the state you were in all night. It is the feeling of the new program. By resting in it for just a few moments, you are telling your subconscious that this state is valuable. You are choosing it. Then slowly sit up, drink a large glass of water. Your brain and body are dehydrated after hours of sleep. This is a fundamental physical act of care. Then go to a window and look outside. Do not look at it with a busy mind thinking about your schedule. Just look. See the sky. See a tree. See the light. Do not label what you see. Just take it in. This simple practice of stillness, hydration, and connecting with the natural world for just 5 minutes does something incredibly powerful. It allows the new program to boot up completely. It gives the operating system time to load before you start opening all the applications. It tells your entire being that the peace you cultivated in the night is not just for sleep. It is for life. It is the foundation upon which you will build your day. It anchors the feeling of calm and clarity deep into your nervous system, making it much more likely that you can return to that feeling later when the pressures of the day arise. This morning anchor is not another task to add to your to-do list. It is the opposite. It is the practice of doing less so that you can ultimately be more. It is the gentle, intentional transition from the inner work of the night to the outer world of the day, ensuring that the two are connected not by chaos, but by a thread of conscious peace. It's a practice, not a pill. There is a desire in all of us for a simple solution. A single switch we can flip that will change everything overnight. We want a magic pill. We want to listen to something once and wake up permanently fixed, forever happy, completely free of all our old problems. This desire is understandable, but it is also the very thing that keeps us stuck. It comes from the same impatient mind that we are trying to calm. This audio is not that pill. It is important to be very clear about this from the beginning. Because if you approach it with the expectation of a quick fix, you will become discouraged. When you still feel human the next day, you will think it didn't work and you will give up, never reaching the profound transformation that is possible. You must understand how you got to where you are now. Your current mindset, your anxieties, your habits, your reactions. This is not a system that was installed in you in one day. It was built over a lifetime. Every experience, every word someone said to you, every fear, every success, every failure, each one was like a single drop of water falling on a stone. At first, the stone shows no change, but over years and decades, those drops wear away a groove. They create a channel. Now when water flows, it automatically runs down that deep groove. Your neural pathways are like that. Your reactions are like that. They are deep, well-worn channels in your mind. To think that one night of listening can erase a lifetime of conditioning is like expecting a single drop of water to fill in a Grand Canyon. It is not possible. This is why it is a practice. The word practice implies repetition. It implies consistency. It implies showing up even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. A musician does not pick up a violin for the first time and play a perfect symphony. They practice scales every single day for years. It's boring, it is repetitive. But it is the only way to rewire the brain and the body to perform complex tasks with ease. This is no different. You are practicing a new way of being. You are practicing peace. You are practicing clarity. You are showing up for yourself night after night to pour a new drop of water onto that stone. But this time, you are pouring it in a different place. You are aiming for a new spot on the stone, wanting to wear a new groove, a groove of calm, a groove of strength. Some nights you will be tired. You will put the audio on and fall asleep in the first 2 minutes and remember nothing of it in the morning. This is not a failure. This is actually a sign that it is working. Your body and mind felt so safe, so able to let go that they surrendered into sleep immediately. The work was still done. The subconscious mind heard everything. The new seeds were still planted in that fertile soil while you were resting. Other nights you might be more awake. You might follow the words more closely. You might have moments of deep insight. Both experiences are perfect. Both are part of the process. Your job is not to control the experience. Your job is simply to show up and push play, to trust that the cumulative effect of all these nights is what creates the change. It is not a dramatic overnight demolition of the old. It is a gentle, persistent, gradual cleaning. Imagine a window that has not been cleaned for 50 years. It is caked with grime, so thick you can barely see any light through it. You cannot clean it with one fierce, frantic scrub. You will just smear the dirt around and scratch the glass. Instead, you clean one small inch gently with care. The next night, you clean the inch next to it. Each night, a little more grime is removed. Each night, a little more light is able to shine through. For a long time, you won't see a dramatic difference. But one day, you will have cleaned enough inches that a significant beam of light breaks through, and that beam will encourage you to keep going. This is how it works. It is slow. It is gentle. It requires patience and faith. The change is happening in the background, in the deep layers of your mind, in a way that your conscious thinking mind cannot perceive on a daily basis. You are not taking a pill. You are building a new life one night at a time. And building anything of value always takes time. And one morning you will wake up and it will have happened without you even realizing it. You won't hear a choir of angels. There will be no dramatic movie moment. But you'll be making your coffee or walking to your car, and you'll stop and you'll realize that the noise is gone. The constant background anxiety you thought was just a part of being you. It's quiet, and in its place is a feeling of space of calm. You'll face a problem that day, and instead of your chest getting tight, you'll feel a sense of, okay, what's the solution? You will have become the person you were listening to. The program will have finished installing, and your life, because it is a reflection of your inner world, will begin to change to match it. So it begins with a simple decision. The decision to stop trying to change your life from the outside in and to start from the inside out. To stop fighting with the leaves and the branches of your problems and to instead tend to the root. This audio is a tool, a key. It is the gentlest, most effective way to speak directly to the deepest part of you, to remind you of your own strength, your own peace, and your own potential. It requires no effort from you. The program will have finished installing, and with it, a quiet shift will begin to unfold in your life. Because your life is not random, it is not disconnected, and it is not chaotic by accident. It is a reflection of your inner world. Every thought, every belief, every hidden story you carry within yourself projects outward, shaping your experiences, your opportunities, and even the way others respond to you. When the inside changes, the outside follows. That is the simple, unshakable truth. But here is where most people get stuck. They keep trying to change their lives from the outside in. They chase new jobs, new relationships, new habits, or new strategies, hoping that the shift will finally happen. Yet again and again, they end up in the same cycles, the same struggles, and the same patterns that they thought they had left behind. Why? Because they are only trimming the leaves, only cutting away at the branches of their problems without ever touching. And if the root remains the same, the tree will always grow back the same way. So it begins here with a decision. A simple but powerful decision. To stop fighting at the surface and instead to go inward, to tend to the root. To stop forcing yourself to push against life and instead align yourself with it. This is not about effort, not about willpower, and not about exhausting yourself with endless struggle. It's about shifting the foundation within you so that the outside no longer has a choice but to change in response. This audio is more than sound. It is a tool, a bridge, a key. It speaks in the gentlest, most effective way to the deepest part of you, the part that does not need convincing, the part that already knows who you truly are. It bypasses the noise of your doubts, your fears, and your resistance, and it goes straight to the quiet center where your strength, your peace, and your potential are waiting. It is not adding something foreign to you. It is reminding you of what has always been there, waiting for you to remember. And the best part? It requires no effort from you. You don't need to wrestle with your thoughts or force yourself into some rigid discipline. You simply allow it. You listen. You let the words, the rhythm, the calm, and the direction settle into your subconscious. And from there, your mind begins to work for you instead of against you. Imagine it like planting a new seed. At first, you see nothing on the surface. Life looks the same. But underground, beneath your awareness, the roots are taking hold, growing stronger, pushing deeper into the soil. And soon, without struggle, without forcing, without constant battle, a new tree emerges and healthier, stronger, and aligned with the vision you carry within. That is how transformation begins, not with chaos, but with a quiet shift that changes everything.